and shocked, including the puppy, $395,000. What a way to introduce the Chuck Cocoma Collection. We begin this collection with one of the holy grails from the Pontiac GTO world. That's Chuck Cocoma on the left, with Dana and Frank Meekin getting a little photo op before this 1970 Ram Air IV GTO Judge crosses the auction block. John, I know you and Chuck Cocoma have been friends for 40 years plus. Big cars here in this group.
And it's a huge day for Chuck and his family, Scott. Chuck is known as perhaps the premier top Pontiac GTO collector on the planet. He bought his first GTO back in 1965. He no longer has that, but he still owns the 68 GTO that he bought brand new back in the day. Fast forward to now, this is the pride of his collection, considered to be really the holy grail in the GTO world. Ram Air IV, the legend of that 375 horsepower top engine option. The Judge package, the orbit orange color in a convertible. Only 7 of these were built with an automatic transmission. The restoration quality obviously speaks for itself. This is the flagship of Chuck Cocoma's personal collection, and it may be the flagship for collectible Pontiac GTOs of all time. This single exact car. Look at the bidding.
Oh, and the reserve comes off.
No words.
$850,000.
World record time for Pontiac GTO. History unfolding right here in front of our eyes.
Anybody else have goosebumps? $900,000.
Now get excited. Get excited. They're out again. Yep. We're in. We're in for now. Next spot's
John, I think the crowd is coming to life here, expecting $1 million bid.
This is an extraordinary moment in muscle car collecting. The shot heard around the world. We are at $1 million. We are resetting the bar, resetting the standard for Pontiac performance cars and muscle cars in general.
Professor, you predicted this car could bring 7 figures when we first learned of this collection, middle of 2022, and it's come true today. There it is, $1 million.
Mr. Purvis on the telephone. Thank you. That was an example of the GOAT selling the GOAT right there.
Well, some people affectionately call them the GOAT, and truly, that GOAT is the greatest of all time.
Well said, Scott.
Katie Osborne.
Well, of course, this is bringing a lot of attention on social media. Man, what a moment that was. JK, I love you doing a little bit of a dance. Well, Randy on social media here saying, I do love a carousel red Judge. He's in luck, guys. It's coming up on the block. He said, that's one of my favorite non-Mopars. And for a non-Mopar, I'd say this one is pretty great.
That one in the middle of your frame right now, coming up next. But first, we've got to get to this 1969 GTO Judge. Keep in mind, all 9 of these cars have that same power plant, John, the Ram Air IV.
Right, which is the top of the line. Similar engine for 69 and 70. They were 370 horsepower, but were actually a performer in the real world that you would think should have been rated at a higher power rating. First year of the Judge right here. Most of them were painted carousel red. This color, it looks like Chevy Hugger orange. But that was a strategy to really kind of get visibility to this pop art car. Vinyl top mount often seen, those decombed Rally 2 wheels, standard part of the Judge package. But it's the Ram Air IV combination with Judge is what's driving this bidding.
bid. At 175 here, 180. And then gonna go down to the 180,000 bid. At 175 here, down to the
Now the sale of the 70 convertible at $1 million, it set the stage. It told the buyers of these slightly lesser GTOs and judges with the Ram Air 4 that it's okay to step up.
Step it on up, indeed.
We got a few more. 185. 180 bid. I'm gonna be the minute. Sold 180, sold 180,000.
Okay, so this 69 final top Ram Air 4 gavels for $180,000.
There is a buzz in the room right now. That was incredible. This is going to be a fun run.
You feel it too, huh? And this is the first of 3 big time collections here at Meek and Kissimmee today. Now to the 69 GTO Judge without the vinyl top that Katie was talking about a little while ago.
And potentially this could outbid the one prior. Why? You mentioned the vinyl top, not so much there. Previous Judge, automatic. This Judge, 4-speed manual transmission, one of only 239 built with that closer ratio, 4-speed manual transmission.
It's already knocked it out of the running. It's
right.
200,000 and the reserve is off.
As expected.
Pick it up at your Pontiac dealer, go to the drag strip, 13-second elapsed times with street tires. I remember it well. I worked at New England Dragway in 1969, and people that brought these to the racetrack, I mean, you couldn't help but show off. They work quick.
Paul Revere and the Raiders, the great 60s pop group, had a great promotional video.
Yes.
Check it out on YouTube.
I've seen it.
About this car.
Yes.
Definitely worth searching that out.
Okay, $200,000 for that 4-speed equipped Judge. Next, also from 1970, a white one.
And some of the special things about the Ram Air 4 engine, it is still a hydraulic cammed in, no solid lifters, but they push the envelope of performance, yet streetable to the max. We see right there the high flow exhaust manifolds. It's got big round exhaust ports versus smaller D ports. The intake ports are taller. It has an aluminum intake manifold versus cast iron, recalibrated quadrajet carburetor, a lot of engine updates.
Well, one of the greatest examples of liar's poker in Detroit back then was the Ram Air 3 was rated at 366 and this was 370. Oh, that's fuzzy math.
Yes, very much so. It was far from just a number change on the evolution of that Ram Air engine.
Yeah, the horsepower rating game was a crazy dance to try to kind of outdo the insurance companies and corporate executives that wanted to kind of tone back the performance. So it was a shell game going on back in this time period.
And the class designation at the drag races. You wanted a lower horsepower to run in a class where you could run better, and then the manufacturers would advertise, hey, we want another race.
120.
Reserves off at $120,000. These engines actually did quite good at the drag strips, although really not much of a national reputation for that, Bill, but you were around at the tracks back in the day. They were out there and they were competitive, especially in the lower classes.
Yeah, like I say, these cars didn't really need a whole lot of monkeying with to be competitive right off the bat. Just speak to Arnie Beswick and he'll tell you all about that with all the Pontiacs he ran for so many years.
Yeah, but those were the classes that the average car buyer who went out on Monday morning shopping were interested in running themselves.
Yeah, I mean, these are the cars that invented pure stock in a lot of organized drag races. The muscle cars were being purchased and raced almost on the same day.
Okay, 125 for that one. Big difference on the next GTO Judge with the Ram Air 4 power. All these other ones have been restored. This one, John, is a survivor.
Right, and this could be the real sleeper of the bunch. Look at the originality. We've got 9 great GTOs and Judges with that legendary Ram Air 4 engine. But this is the only one, as you said, Scott, that's original. Is that going to hold it back, or is that going to boost it up? We're going to find out. One of only 327 built with that 4-speed. Again, unrestored in what a lot of people think is one of the colors. A cold blue.
Yeah.
That sandalwood interior gives it a great contrast.
Yeah, I looked at this car really closely the other day next to all the restored judges, and you can see the patina, the paint flaking, chipping a little bit. Not a big deal. Yeah, it's really, really cool.
Well, I think we're getting our answer here. John seemed to have plateaued a little bit this number.
Yeah. Reserve still has not been met.
115 pounds set, at 115, not going to be a bit of a kind of an arm, got 115 down, not going to be a bit of a kind of a tan, not going to be a bit of a kind of a 15 bid, 115 pounds to the bid, 115 bid, 115, not going to be a bit of a
That's just remarkable. A time capsule.
Yeah.
Much like the AR Cuda that we had yesterday, the Moulin Rouge Survivor, we thought this one might hop up the same way that one did, but was not to be.
And interesting that Chuck decided not to cut this one loose, not to lift the reserve on this particular car, John.
Well, we currently have a high bid of $110,000.
So we move to the next one. And this happens to be also from 1970.
All right, prediction time for me. We've got our third 70 Ram Air 4 judge in a row, and I think this one is going to blast past them all, and I'll tell you why. No, not just because it's restored, but because of the quality of the restoration and the colors. Starlight black across the board.
We're seeing your prediction coming true as we speak, John, with those numbers creeping up. And yeah, I mean, black just looks so good, especially when it's well done. Against those judge graphics, they just pop out on those fenders. Amazing.
Black is such an unfriendly color unless the body work and the prep is just to perfection. It shows. In fact, it even highlights and accentuates any flaws. And you can just see with that incredible camera work just how beautiful the sheet metal is.
Yeah, when I was a young man working in a body shop, I block sanded more than a few bodies.
Oh, I bet you did.
You probably noticed my massive upper body. That's
well,
making sure that a black car looks like this one.
But our black shirts very slimming, and they are flattering to you.
Yes, they are. Yeah, right.
Well, still waiting on the reserve to come off on this car, John. The last of the GTO judges in this collection. 3 more standard GTOs, if you will.
We're getting some momentum now.
Yeah, we do. Let's hit 270, we'll get the reserve. One of a kind car, sir. Would 265 work?
Ram Air IV collections in the world. 260.
Let's do 265. 1 time. What do you think? We're up against our reserve. We're going to get that reserve at 265. You're 260, right? And 60. 260. Reserves on!
Wow, here we go. We knew this one was going to fetch a premium, and we are right. 260,000. Where is it going to hammer? Is he it? We got
Didn't
more.
take Chuck long to take that reserve off. As soon as Frank came over, he said it's off.
Boom. There it is. $260,000. 3 more cars. We need to take a break, and we will update you on the totals coming up in a moment.
We're Carvana. We've created a brand new way for you to sell your car. Go to Carvana, answer a few questions, and our techno wizardry calculates your car's value and gives you a real offer in seconds. We'll come to you, pay you on the spot, then pick up your car. That's it. At Carvana.
Being in debt was just such a challenge as a working single mom.
You know, I felt like I couldn't accomplish anything. You know, I felt like I was hopeless and stuck.
I was working 3 jobs just to make ends meet.
I had $30,000 in debt. So if I were to make the minimum payments on my credit card debt, it would have taken 40 years to pay off.
I knew I wasn't going to be able to get out of debt by myself.
National Debt Relief negotiated with my creditors and reduced my debt by half.
National Debt Relief can significantly reduce the amount you owe, and you could be debt-free in as little as 24 to 48 months.
From the second I made the call, their customer service
on HBO Max.
Welcome back to Kissimmee as we wind things down, or at least get set to do that, in the Chuck Cocoma Collection. While we were in the break, a 1970 standard GTO with that Ram Air IV sold for $170,000. And now we have one from 1969. The next to last car in this spectacular group of 9 offerings from Chuck Cocoma.
All right, straight GTO, not a judge, but that debut year for that incredible Ram Air IV engine we've talked about so much. It's Liberty Blue with that parchment interior, very attractive. Only 310 were built with that 4-speed and that Ram Air IV engine. This one with the safety track, which is their version of limited slip, or Chevy Speed Positraction, 433 gears.
Oh!
And that's, honestly, this engine makes its power in the mid and upper ranges. Down low, not so much, so those steep gears prevent bogging coming off the line for a quarter-mile use. Was it 150,000?
Yeah, I
believe
think so.
it was.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that is
sold.
Wolf in sheep's clothing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, the last of the 9 in Chuck Cocoma's collection, a 1970 GTO Ram Air IV once again, and even with this car, before this car sells, I should say, we are in excess of $2 million total for the collection. And John, I'm really curious, as we mentioned, you've known Chuck for so many years. He kind of felt like he's had these cars for a long time and really wanted to see someone else get the responsibility and the privilege of taking care of them.
Exactly, Scott. That's what's driving Chuck to bring these cars here. And then the fact that he wanted to be a part of the sale. He's been interacting, talking with the potential bidders, and I think will continue to be a part of these cars' history, even as they go off to their new owners. He was very sincere about that, very passionate. It's been very emotional the past few days around Chuck and his family.
Sure.
The scores of muscle car enthusiasts that have been talking to them.
As these are being talked about on social, Anthony F. said, wow, what a beautiful collection of classic American muscle. It's got to be heartbreaking to part with these beauties. For me, it would have been an honor to own them. And JK, that's speaking to exactly what you're saying with the passion and the emotion that Chuck might be feeling.
Yeah, this is a lifetime of collecting for Chuck Cocoma, and it's all rapidly coming to a close. It's going to be interesting to speak with Chuck later today. Him and I one-on-one as longtime friends. And all right, the reserve comes off, everybody, at 140,000. Now 145.
Thank you, Craig.
What an incredible run here. Internet, live bidders going like crazy on this. A toll blue Ram Air IV GTO, not a judge.
Again, this is the last car from this collection. There are more collections. In fact, 20 cars away is going to be Mopar Wing Car Mania. Thanks to the Gary Edwards collection. Chris has a little smirk on his face like, yeah, I know what's coming up, man.
Give 170,000. Give 170. 170,000 a bid.
We got to survive this run first. I'm not sure if I might have any adrenaline left to spend.
We're not even halfway through the day yet.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, there we go. The final car in the Chuck Cocoma Judge and GTO Ram Air IV Collection, Scott, just sold for $160,000. What an incredible run, and really just a warm-up of what we've got to come for the remainder of the afternoon.
Yeah, $1 million GTO Judge.